What is the difference between a will and a living trust in Texas? Well, the most important thing to understand is that with a will, when you pass away and you just have a will and all the properties that you give to your kids go through that will, then the properties still stand on your name, and your kids will have to take that will and go to the local probate court and probate that will. Now, Texas generally has a straightforward probate process, but I've heard in counties like Dallas, it's taking over a year just to get that probate. And there are some other downsides of probate because it involves court fee, it involves attorney fee, you take grieving family members, you throw in a court, you throw in a lawyer, what could go wrong? The other big disadvantage with having just a will is that the records of the local court in which the will is probated becomes a public record, so anybody can go and find out how much money your children have inherited, including creditors, including all kinds of nasty people, and that's something that you may want to avoid. Now, what's the difference between a living trust? Well, like, what is the advantage that you get with the trust? The advantage that you get with the trust is that when you are alive, you fund the trust, and those assets are no longer on your name. They are in the name of the trust. Now, don't get me wrong, while you're alive, you can still kind of change it, you can do what you want with it. That's why it's called a revocable living trust. But the important thing to kind of keep in mind is that the property is no longer on your name. So when you pass away, there is nothing in your personal name to give away. The property stands in the name of a trust. So therefore, your kids get to avoid probate court altogether. They will probably sit in the conference room of a lawyer, and the asset transfer will be much more smoother. The other downside of a probate is that sometimes assets are frozen during these probate proceedings until the court goes through and finishes probate proceedings. But with a living trust, you don't get all that. Most of my clients, I kind of suggest just getting a trust done. Your kids get red carpet treatment, and they get to avoid the entire court process altogether. If you want more information on how to protect your family if you have properties both in India and Texas, download the Desi Family Estate Planning Checklist. You can find the link on my channel page.